What are you doing?
I'm trying to take a new picture for Instagram.
Aren't you supposed to be working on your Harlem Renaissance project?
I mean, yeah, but no one really cares about the Harlem Renaissance.
How do you know that?
Because, why does it matter? It's history. I'm living in the present. Duh.
Whatever you say, Kate.
One unproductive hour later.
Have you still not worked on it?
Worked on what?
Your Harlem Renaissance project.
I told you, nobody cares about the Harlem Renaissance. It's stupid. Why should I care?
Because it's history and that will help you learn about the present?
How?
I don't know, actually crack a book.
Yeah, like I'm gonna read a book. What's so good about the Harlem Renaissance? If it's so important.
Why don't you find out?
Yeah, okay. As soon as I'm done with my,
Alright, well, I'll go get a coffee
Instagram.
then.
Another unproductive hour later. I'm kind of tired. I've been here for hours, working so hard, studying. I'll just take a nap. For English B. The instructor said, go home and write a page tonight, and let that page come out of you. Then it will be true. I wonder if it's that simple. I am 22, colored, born in Winston-Salem. I went to school there, then Durham, then here, to this college on the hill above Harlem. I am the only colored student in my class. The steps from the hill lead down into Harlem. Through a park, then I cross St. Nicholas, 8th Avenue, 7th, and I come to the Y, the Harlem Branch Y, where I take the elevator up to my room, sit down, and write this page. It's not easy to know what is true for you or me. At 22, my age, but I guess I'm what I feel, see, and hear. Harlem, I hear you. You, hear me. We two, you, me, talk on this page. I hear New York too. Me, who? Well, I like to eat, sleep, drink, and be in love. I like to work, read, learn, and understand life. I like a pipe for Christmas present, or records, Bessie, Bach, or Bach. I guess being colored doesn't make me not like you, the same things the other folks like who are other races. So will my page be colored that I write? Being me, it will not be white. But it will be a part of you, instructor. You are white, yet a part of me as I am a part of you. That's American. Sometimes perhaps you don't want to be part of me, nor do I often want to be part of you. But we are, that's true. As I learn from you, I guess you learn from me. Although you're older and white and somewhat more free. This is my page for English B, Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America. Langston Hughes. Quaint outlandish heathen gods, black men fashioned out of rods, clay and brittle bits of stone, and a likeness like their own. My conversion came high-priced. I belong to Jesus Christ, preacher of humility. Heathen gods are not to me. Father, Son, and Holy Ghost, so I make an idle boast. Jesus of the twice-turned cheek, Lamb of God, although I speak with my mouth thus in my heart, do I play a double part? Ever at thy glowing altar must my heart grow sick and falter, wishing he I served were black, thinking then it would not lack precedent of pain to guide it, let who would or might deride it. Surely then this flesh would know yours had borne a kindred woe. Lord, I fashioned dark gods too, daring even to give you dark despairing features, where crowned with dark rebellious hair, patience wavers just so much as mortal grief compels, while touches quick and hot of anger rise to smitten cheek and wary eyes. Lord, forgive me if my need sometimes shapes a human creed. If we must die, let it not be like hogs, hunted and penned in a glorious spot, where round us bark the mad and hungry dogs, making their mock at our accursed lot. If we must die, oh, let us nobly die, so that our precious blood may not be shed in vain. Then even the monsters we defy shall be constrained to honor us though dead. O kinsmen, we must meet the common foe. Though far outnumbered, let us show us brave, and for their 1,000 blows deal one death blow. What though before us lies the open grave? Like men we'll face the murder's cowardly pack, pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. Claude McKay. Between me and the other world, there is an ever unasked question. Unasked by some through feelings of delicacy, by others through the difficulty of rightly framing it. All, nevertheless, flutter around it. They approach me in a half-hesitant sort of way, eyeing me curiously or compassionately, and then instead of saying directly, "How does it feel to be a problem?" they say, "I know an excellent colored man in my town," or "I fought in Mechanicsville," or "Do not these southern outrages make your blood boil?" At these I smile, or am interested, or reduce the boiling to a simmer, as the occasion may require. To the real question, how does it feel to be a problem, I answer seldom a word. And yet, being a problem is a strange experience, peculiar even for one who has never been anything else, save perhaps in boyhood and in Europe. It is in the early days of rollicking boyhood that the revelation first burst upon one, all in one day, as it were. I remember well when the shadows swept across me. I was the little thing, away up in the hills of New England, where the dark, Housatonic wings between Hoosac and Tagkanap to the sea, in a wee wooden schoolhouse. Something put it into the boys' and girls' heads to buy gorgeous visiting cards, 10 cents a package, in exchange. The exchange was merry, till one girl, a tall newcomer, refused my card, refused it peremptorily with a glance. Then it dawned upon me with a certain suddenness that I was different from the others, or, like mayhap in heart and life and longing, but shut out from the world by a vast veil. I had therefore no desire to tear down that veil to creep through. I held all beyond it in common contempt, and lived above it in a region of blue sky and great wandering shadows. The sky was bluest when I could beat my mates at examination time, or beat them in a foot race, or even beat their stringy heads. At last, with the years and all this fine contempt began to fade. For the worlds I longed for and all their dazzling opportunities was theirs, not mine. But they should not keep these prizes, I said. Some, all I would wrest from them. Just how would I do it? I could never decide. By reading law, or by healing the sick, by telling the wonderful tales that swam in my head, some way. With other black boys, the strife was not so fiercely sunny. Their youth shrunk into tasteless syncopy, or into silent hatred of the pale world above them, and mocking distrust of everything white, or wasted itself in a bitter cry. Why did God make me an outcast and a stranger in my own house? The shades of the prison house closed round about us all. Walls straight and stubborn to the whitest, but relentlessly narrow, tall and unscalable to the sons of night, who must plod darkly on resignation, or beat unavailing palms against the stone, or steadily, half hopelessly, watch the streak blue above. After the Egyptian and Indian, the Greek and Roman, the Teutonic and Mongolian, the Negro is a sort of seventh son, born with a veil and gifted with second sight in this American world. A world which yields him no true self-consciousness, but only lets him see himself through the revelation of the other world. It is a peculiar sensation through this double consciousness, this sense of always looking through oneself through the eyes of others, of measuring one's soul by the tape of a world that looks on in amused contempt and pity. One ever feels his two-ness, an American, a Negro, two souls, two thoughts, unreconciled strivings, two warring ideals in one dark body, though dog's strength above it keeps it from being torn asunder. W.E.D. Du Bois. Silence. That crowded in on him, engulfed him, that blurred his vision, dulled his brain, vast, white, impenetrable. His ears strained for the old familiar sound, and silence beat upon them. The words of the evening paper jumbled together. He read, J.P. Morgan goes. It burst upon him, blinded him. His hands groped for the bulge beneath his coat. Why, this was the end of those great moments, the end of everything. Bewildering pain tore through him. He clutched at his heart and felt almost the jagged edges drive into his hand. A lethargy swept down upon him. He could not move nor utter sound. He could not pray nor curse. Against the wall of that silence, J. Lucius Jones crashed and died. Dorothy West. It would seem as though the United States is not a part of the world. In order to win the war, President Wilson employed force and unstinted force. And those who expect to bring any similar desirable termination to a just cause can do no less than follow the splendid example set for them by the reputed spokesman of humanity. That the lesson did not take long to penetrate the minds of Negroes is demonstrated by the change that has taken place in their demeanor and tactics. No longer are Negroes willing to be shot down or hunted from place to place like wild beasts. No longer will they flee from their homes and leave their property to the tender mercies of the howling and cowardly mob. They have changed, and now they intend to give men's account of themselves. If death is to be their portion, new Negroes are determined to make their dying a costly investment for all concerned. If they must die, they are determined that they shall not travel through the valley of the shadow of death alone, but that some of their oppressors shall be their companions. This new spirit is but a reflex of the Great War, and it is largely due to the insistent and vigorous agitation carried on by the younger men of the race. The demand is uncompromisingly made for either liberty or death, and since death is likely to be a two-edged sword, it will be to the advantage of those in a position to do so to give the race its long-denied liberty. The new spirit animating Negroes is not confined to the United States, where it is most acutely manifested, but is simmering beneath the surface in every country where the race is oppressed. The Washington and Chicago outbreaks should be regarded as symptoms of a great pandemic, and the Negroes as courageous surgeons who perform the necessary, though painful, operation. That the remedy is efficacious is beyond question. It has brought results, for a consequence, as the eye of the world are focused upon the racial situation in the United States. The world knows now that the new Negroes are determined to observe the primal law of self-preservation, whatever civil laws break down, to assist the authorities to preserve order and prevent themselves and families from being murdered in cold blood. Surely no one can sincerely object to this new laudable determination. Justification for those course is not lacking, for it is the white man's own Bible that says, "Those who live by the sword shall perish by the sword." And since white men believe in force, Negroes have mimicked them for nearly 3 centuries and must copy them in that respect. Since fire must be fought with hellfire, and diamond alone can cut diamond, Negroes realize that force alone is an effective medium to counteract force. Counter-irritants are useful in curing diseases, and Negroes are being driven by their white fellow citizens to investigate the curative values inherent in mass action, revolvers, and other lethal devices when applied to social diseases. The new Negro has arrived with stiffened backbone, dauntless manhood, defiant eye, steady hand, and a will of iron. Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun? Or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat? Or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load. Or does it explode? Langston Hughes.
Kate! Kate, wake up. You there?
Oh my god, hey.
Hi.
Is it morning?
No, but what are you doing?
I just had the craziest dream.
Do tell.
I was in the 1920s. I was in the Harlem Renaissance. I was in the thick of Harlem.
I thought you said it wasn't important.
Dude, it's totally important. There was so much to learn about. They had such a struggle, and they made such beautiful pieces of writing. It's actually really cool. Please sit down so I can tell you about it. I'm so excited. I think I'm going to make a really cool project.
Oh, now you're gonna work on it.
I am. I think I figured it out. I know what I want to do it on.
Alrighty then. Well, you better get to it before it gets due.
Crap, what time is it?
Probably like 9 a.m.
Shit, it's due in an hour.
I would go right now.
Dawn.